dear Lilia, I received your questions. But before I answer, do not ask this letter to diagnose me. Ask it to understand me. They called me genius. They called me distracted. They called me blessed. They called me mad. But I was never one thing. I was 1,000 doors opening at once. When I painted a face, I heard the language of muscles. When I studied the muscle, I saw the wings of a bird. When I watched the bird, I built a machine inside my mind. And before the world could understand the first idea, I was already burning with the next. I did not abandon my dreams. No! My dreams refused to abandon me. They called my notebooks chaos, but chaos was only the universe speaking too fast. A heart, a wing, a river, a star, a machine, a woman's smile, to them disorder, to me connection. You asked me if my mind ever rested. No, Lilia, never. My mind was a cathedral full of thunder, 1,000 candles, 1,000 questions, 1,000 unfinished prayers. For years, I thought I was broken, until I realized I was not broken. I was listening to the world in a different key. They may give it a modern name. Let them. Names change, labels fade, but curiosity survives the centuries. So if there is a child, a woman, a man, somewhere in the world, believing they are defective, tell them this: different does not mean less. Different may be the door history is waiting for, the minds that change the world are almost always misunderstood first. And if after this letter you still have questions, good. That means the fire is alive. That means you have begun to think like me. With affection. With affection. With affection. With affection. With affection. My dear Lilia.
Dear Leonardo, I've read your letter more than 10 times. Not because I didn't understand it, but because, for the first time in many years, I felt as though someone had written exactly what I had never been able to explain. For most of my life, I believed there was something wrong with me. At school, my handwriting was always the worst. My teachers corrected me again and again and again. The S, the C, the Z. To everyone else, they looked completely different. To me, they were almost the same. I could study them for hours, and the very next day, make the same mistakes all over again. So I convinced myself that I simply wasn't as intelligent as everyone else. Today I know that wasn't true, because while I was forgetting a spelling rule, my mind was traveling through the history of ancient Egypt. Then I would begin designing an imaginary bridge. 5 minutes later, I was reading about psychology. And before going to sleep, I wanted to understand how the universe worked. My problem was never learning. My problem was wanting to learn everything. You said your ideas kidnapped you. Mine do too. I begin the project completely convinced that it will become the most important work of my life. Then suddenly, another idea knocks at the door. Then another and another. I don't abandon my dreams. It's simply that they all want to be born at the same time. There is something else I want to confess. When my own life becomes chaotic, I freeze. I struggle to find my way. But the moment someone comes to me with a problem, something changes inside me. It's as if every scattered piece suddenly falls into place. I can organize someone else's chaos, the way a person patiently assembles a puzzle. And then I ask myself, why can I see everyone else's path so clearly, yet lose sight of my own sometimes? I feel as though I live between two worlds. One is the world everyone expects me to see. The other exists only inside my mind. And strangely enough, that's where I truly feel at home. Today, some people would call me distracted. Others would say I have too many interests. Some would mention dyslexia, others ADHD. Maybe they're right, maybe they aren't. But after reading your letter, I understood something that changed my life. I don't need to be like everyone else to have value. I simply need to stop apologizing for thinking differently. Thank you, Leonardo, not for answering my questions, but for helping me understand that 500 years later, there are still people who walk along paths that others cannot even see. Perhaps, after all, I'm not lost, perhaps. I'm simply exploring with admiration. Lilia.
Lilia.